When your dog licks your face, hands, or feet, we usually assume it's a sign of affection, but that's not always the case. There can be up to 6 different reasons behind that licking, and some of them might surprise you. And we're starting with the oldest one of all, one that goes back millions of years. Dogs descended from wolves, and in wolf packs, licking serves a very specific social purpose. When an adult female wolf came back from a hunt, the pups would lick around the mouth to trigger regurgitated food. That was their way of asking to be fed. Your dog isn't expecting you to serve up pre-chewed food, of course, but that instinct is still wired in. From puppyhood, dogs learn that the tongue is a communication tool, and that starts at birth when the mother licks them to clean and stimulate them. That's where everything else begins. But that ancient instinct has evolved, and today it also has a much more familiar role. Sometimes your dog does it as a way of showing love. When your dog licks you, their brain releases endorphins and dopamine. Yes, the same neurotransmitters linked to pleasure and calm. So, licking has a real physical effect on your dog. It helps them unwind and makes them feel good. It's literally their version of a hug. And it's not just for you. Dogs lick each other too to strengthen the bond within the group. If your dog licks you when you get home, when you sit down on the couch, or when they notice you're upset, the simplest explanation may be that you matter to them. But the next reason is much more down to earth. Sometimes your dog licks you because you taste good. Not metaphorically, you literally taste good to them. Your skin has salt on it. It may still carry traces of what you just ate. It also carries the smell of shampoo, lotion, and the sweat from your day. For an animal with a sense of smell that's somewhere between 10,000 and 100 times more powerful than ours, you're a full-on sensory experience. The acrine glands on your forehead and cheeks leave behind a salty taste that dogs find irresistible. And any trace of food on your lips or hands can trigger that enthusiastic licking. So, if your dog suddenly starts licking you right after you've eaten, now you know why. That said, there's one reason you may have created without realizing it. Sometimes you're the one teaching your dog that licking gets results. Think about it. The first time your dog licked you, what did you do? Maybe you laughed, looked at them, or said something. Maybe you even petted them. And in that moment, you taught them something very valuable. If I lick you, I get attention. Experts warn that even scolding can reinforce the behavior because any reaction, positive or negative, tells your dog the licking worked. Dogs are very good at figuring out which actions pay off. If licking works to interrupt you while you're on the phone, get you up from the couch, or make you pay attention, they'll keep doing it. But sometimes the licking isn't about getting something from you. It's about calming themselves down. Licking has a self-soothing effect in dogs. That repetitive action releases those same endorphins we talked about earlier, and some dogs use it to cope with stress. When a dog licks obsessively in social situations or during changes in routine, it can be a sign of anxiety, a way of telling you without words that something feels overwhelming. To tell whether that's what's going on, look at the context. If your dog licks you more during storms, when visitors show up, or when they pick up tension in the house, it's probably not just pure affection. They're nervous, and they're using licking to regulate themselves. And the last reason may say the most about the bond between people and dogs. Sometimes, dogs lick us when they sense that something's wrong. In 2012, psychologists Deborah Custance and Jennifer Mayer from Goldsmiths University of London published a study in which they exposed 18 dogs of different breeds and ages to a very simple situation. The owner and a stranger pretended to cry, hum, or speak normally. What happened was striking. The dogs approached, licked, and sought physical contact with the person who was crying, and they did it much more often than when that same person was simply talking or humming. And the most revealing part was that they did it whether it was their owner or a stranger. The researchers themselves concluded that the dogs weren't approaching because they recognized the owner, but because someone was in distress. It didn't matter who it was, and that's something very close to empathy. We don't know for sure whether your dog understands that you're sad in the same way a human would, but it does seem clear that your dog can tell when something's off and responds to it. And that's the key. Your dog's licking doesn't have just one answer. It can be instinct, affection, a need for attention, curiosity about your smell, or a way to manage their own stress. And in the sweetest cases, it can be their clumsy, slobbery way of telling you they're with you. On screen, you'll see a video where I explain why dogs sometimes stare at us so intensely. Tap the image to watch.